Welcome back to Meaningful Conversations Live with Beata. I'm your host, and I'm here every Tuesday at noon Mountain Standard Time. Why? Because I bring change makers, speakers, great speakers that share their own story to bring awareness, rise your hopes and values, and encourage you to take responsibility for your own life, because it doesn't really matter what happens in life, we call it to you. What is important is what are you gonna do with it. And today's guest, well, the full name is Regeline Gigi, it's what she goes by, Sabbat. Do I say it right? Welcome to the show. Yes, why Gigi is so special? Well, I want to go back to our first conversation. So it was a couple months ago, and we connected on the Zoom. We could not connect because she was in doing her hair. Hairdresser was doing her hair. Eventually, we connected, and what I see, oh my gosh, this like Egyptian goddess in this beautiful dress and beautiful makeup. And then, she's so nice. Like, oh my God, I fall in love with her right away. And then we talk about our stories. And I was like, oh my gosh, how is it possible that this woman went through so much and she's still standing firm, standing strong, and impacting the world? So Gigi, welcome to the show. So I'm so honored, first of all. And second, can you tell us a little bit more about you? And basically this question is connected. Does your story created your life purpose? How did you found your life purpose?
Great question. And first and foremost, thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor. And I will backtrack here and I'll tell you this. My parents came to this country from Haiti around 35 years ago. And my parents instilled in my brothers and I the importance of obtaining an education. So I did. I attended the University of Central Florida in Orlando, obtained my BA in political science pre-law and sociology. And during my undergrad studies, I interned for the senator. And then I pursued a degree in law. While in law school, I became the Student Bar Association president. And during my studies, my legal studies, my life transformed forever. I'll never forget the day when I almost lost my life, death by strangulation in a domestic violence matter. And today I'm a domestic violence advocate. God really allowed me to step into my purpose after that incident took place and really helped me to understand his purpose for my life, which is to serve his people. And so that's what I'm doing today.
Yes. And would you say that without what you went through, would you be who you are today? Would you do what you do for others?
Yes, ma'am. Understand this. I was already a speaker beforehand, but in regards to a different platform. But God has now awakened me to really serve his people on this new spiritual platform he has given me. So I will continue to serve his people all over the world. If it's speaking, my books, my podcast, any way that I can help provide value, I will do so.
And you do provide a lot of value, not only in what you do professionally, but also behind the stage. I love our conversations. So God is your value. It's what I hear. So can you share me what prayers means to you?
Yes, ma'am. Prayer means everything to me. So essentially, understand this. I read the Bible as a child, but I reread it again after the domestic violence matter and the sexual assault incident took place. And here's the thing. I got baptized again as an adult, and my relationship with God grew tremendously. Essentially, when we read the Bible, God is speaking to us. We are building a relationship with him. It is important to raise awareness about the importance of having God first place in our lives. Understand this. We would not have all the issues in society that we have if people were to keep God in the proper place, which is first.
So I'm gonna go to a little bit more, I think, tough topics because, well, I love God, and without him, I would not be here. He gave me strength when I was going through challenging times. But your challenging times, we cannot compare, they say, but compared to what you went through and I went through, I just question, and many people, especially in coaching, what you are a life coach, so you know people are, it's very hard to stay and believe and trust God when the life puts you down. And in your case, can you tell us, especially you are a sexual assault advocate, the domestic violence advocate, so can you share with us a little bit of that story and how you were able to still get up, stand strong, as I said before, and say, God, I trust you?
Yes, that's right. So essentially, no matter what happens, we need to understand this. We need to get up. That's what I did. I get up every single time, and you must do the same, because essentially, if you do not get back up after a major challenge happens to you, you will go into depression. You will have anxiety. You will live in fear. You need to get back up every single time. Understand this. You are not your circumstances or the trials and tribulations that you have faced in your life. You need to get back up.
You need to get back up. That is so true. But I'm gonna drill in here. But how when I'm so down on the floor, on the ground, and I'm like, God, what else you want me to go through? I'm tired. I don't want it anymore. I don't want to go against my dreams, because it's what we think, like it's not what I want. Why is it happening to me? So how do I do it?
Yes. First and foremost, you must maintain a resilient mindset, but understand this: God did not bring you through anything that he wouldn't get you through. Understand this: 9 times out of 10, you went through that for a reason, not for no reason. And utilize your pain for purpose. As a good friend of mine, Amber Lyons, says all the time, utilize your pain for purpose. There is purpose through your pain. Utilize it and continue to serve God's people. You are here for a reason, not for no reason. You are the child of God. He is the creator of all things. And understand this: by maintaining a resilient mindset, you are able to bounce back after a major challenge happens in your life. You are not what happens to you. Remember that. Write that down if you're listening to this today. You are not what happens to you. And no matter what, get up.
I love it. I love it. Get up no matter what. And this brings me to quote of Les Brown: when life knocks you down, make sure you land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. And I know that you interviewed him recently as well. I love that man.
Yes.
But you also said in many of your interviews that I went through quite a lot, you said detour in our life, it's because God caused delay for a reason. So what was the detour for you that later on you realized that it was just delay to something better in your life?
Yes, that's right. So essentially my legal studies were delayed, correct? Which is, I understood is God is saying, okay, it's a detour for a reason, not for no reason, because he made me realize his purpose for my life is bigger than what I even thought, and how he needed me to serve his people. So understand this. Again, if you have a detour in your life, it is for a reason. God is utilizing that for a reason. You might not understand it now, but you'll understand it later. And understand this: it's not our timing. Do not say, oh, why did this happen now? Why didn't this happen then? It's all about God's timing. And understand this: you can write all the plans that you want. Go ahead and write out a list. But if it does not happen the way you expected it to, understand this: it's because God knows the plans that he has for us.
Beautiful. I love the strength in your voice. That's why you are a speaker. Before I go to the next question, I want to say thank you, Joanna. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Alfonso, for being here with us. And please ask questions if you have any, because we have this incredible woman up front of us live. she can respond to any of the questions that you have around resilient mindset and any challenges that you go through in life. Okay, Gigi, now are you ready for the next question?
Yes, ma'am. Axe away. I'm an open book.
I know. That's why we connect so greatly, I guess, because I'm an open book as well. You talk about domestic violence a lot, and you are advocate for that. Why? Why is it in your interest to talk about this topic that nobody else really wants to talk? Because it's tough.
Because I as a survivor myself, I understand domestic violence to the fullest extent now, more than I even knew when they mentioned domestic violence. They don't educate others about it enough. So today I'm a strong advocate for it, to raise awareness about domestic violence, but also about the characteristic traits that are tied in regards to the abuser. So in my book, Walk With Me, I'll hold it here, which again, the purpose of this is to never give up. So I mentioned the trials and tribulations that I had to overcome in my life, such as domestic violence and sexual assault. I mentioned the character traits that are tied to narcissist character traits. Why? Because that is in alignment with the abuser. So again, had I known that, I would probably, again, most likely, I definitely would not have been in that relationship, because I would have been aware. So today I tell people, you need to be aware about these character traits so that you do not end up in those type of relationships. And if you are in that relationship, you need to understand this: you're in danger and you need to get out of it. And understand this, that it's not just physical, it's also emotional, mental, financial, and then there's PTSD tied to it. Hence why I hosted the global virtual panel of domestic violence survivors event. We brought individuals from all over the world, survivors from all over the world, and experts to educate others about this and the different aspects that are tied to domestic violence. Because too often it's being taught in our society that it only happens to women and it's only physical. That's not the case. It does happen to men and women, and there's so many different aspects that I just mentioned: emotional, physical, mental, financial, and then there's PTSD tied to it.
And if you can give me, or not just me, but to people that are listening to us and or will listen later, a couple characteristics that we should pay attention to, the red flags that when you see the first time, you know that there is no way I'm staying in that relationship or around that kind of people.
Yes. The red flags, definitely that person will try to isolate you from those you love and from what you're doing. I remember I was very busy at the time, again, studying and just with the SBA. This person would try to keep you away from what you're doing and work. You need to be able to understand that you're in danger when you're in this type of relationship, and you need to get out and call 911.
Beautiful. That is so important. And we are not speaking out loud enough about that topics. Kind of people are touching here and there, but I noticed that as a society, we are afraid to bring that topics to the surface.
That's right. If you told me today that I would be a business owner and I would have this company and I would host these events, I would say, really? But again, that's because God knows the plans that He has for us. Essentially, He awakened me to step into my purpose. And I did.
And you did. That is the most important statement, I think, in the entire life we have to decide about. That there is a purpose presented and we have to step up into it, even if we are afraid, even if we don't know how and why sometimes. But this is the higher purpose and serves others, not just us. So what is beautiful about you, I found out that going through all these challenges in your life, starting in a very early age, you still decided that it's not about me. Yes, I'm in pain, I'm hurt, but there are people that need to hear me so they can avoid or prevent that kind of harm.
That's right. That's right. So I was sexually assaulted when I was 8 years old. And that affected my trust in people, my social relationships with people. And here's the thing, again, I never imagined that I would be an advocate for sexual assault as well. But understand this, that it did happen twice in my life, once as a child and as an adult. So I teach people today that you can take all the precautions that you want. But again, you cannot blame yourself for what happens to you. Too often people blame themselves and they say, oh my goodness, why did this happen to me? Why did I choose to do this or travel and all that? Because it happened to me as an adult when I traveled out of state. So this is what I tell people. You can't stop living because of what happens to you. God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9 states, haven't I commanded you, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for your Lord, your God is with you wherever you go. Understand this, God is with you wherever you go. And again, if you continue to blame yourself for what happens to you, you will be depressed, you will have anxiety, you will live in fear. That's not living life. And that's not living God's purpose for your life. You need to get back up and you need to live God's purpose for your life. You are not what happens to you. Get up.
You are not what happens to you. Get up. I love it. But I'm gonna put myself in the shoes of these people. And I work with some clients that went through similar situation, not exactly the same because I don't know the details, but it's very hard for people to go after experiences like that to get up. They are living in a victim mindset. They are living in blame and they are living in guilt. And you said a resilient mindset. What tools they can use to bring themselves to life?
Yes, ma'am. Great question. So essentially, you need to be able to shift your mindset from a negative mindset to a positive mindset. So you can say, I want a resilient mindset and understand it and understand that it's going to bounce you back. But you need to be able to do the work and shift your mindset from a negative mindset to a positive mindset. And then you need to be able to maintain it. So I teach individuals in my programs, my infinite goal building programs, how to do so because it's a process.
I love that. This is process. And no matter what you go through in your life, it's a process. It doesn't mean that it's gonna change overnight. Even with having a tools, it's still a process because life is the process. I love it. My next question is because last year, this is all crazy. Like nobody would ever imagine living in this kind of times where we have to wear masks, in being isolated, and this domestic violence is still happening. So for all the people out there, what is the biggest lesson for you in the last year based on what you do?
Yes, to continue to listen to him and understand his purpose for your life. That's what I got. And I stepped into my purpose. And now I teach others how to step into their purpose as well. And again, it all goes back to building the business. I wasn't a business owner before. I launched my company, Life Service Center of America. But when I understood God's purpose for my life to the fullest extent, I got out my piece of paper, I got out my pen, and I just listened to him. And I wrote away. I wrote everything that I heard. And literally, I followed the steps and I launched my company. It was not easy. So if you're listening to this today, it's not going to be easy to start your own company. But you need to be able to push through the pain.
Push through the pain. I love it. You are not what happens to you, and push through. I love it. I'm gonna write it down. Push through. How important is to have support when we go through life challenges, and where to find the support?
Oh, yes. A support system is definitely needed. I know I had my family and also the domestic violence advocates in my community, which I'm truly grateful for at the time as well. And they're still there as well. And I'm an advocate today in regards to the panels that I'm hosting. So I definitely would recommend tuning in. It's on the podcast as well, YouTube and all major podcast platforms. So tune in. You're not alone. Listen in. We have experts, survivors from all over the world to help you overcome these challenges. You're not alone. And again, this is why I do what I do, to help others. I love helping others. It's what I'm passionate about.
See the smile. Yes. Love it. Love it. Gigi, so yes, you love to help others, and you are also involved in suicide attempt survivors events. You create events for them. Why is that? And tell us about the one that is coming on Friday. Yes.
Yes. So I host these panels because, again, I understand what it's like to go through these things. And why do I say that? Because, again, I'm a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault. But here's the thing. I didn't know I was going to host these panels in regards to domestic violence, sexual assault, breast cancer, and the one you're seeing before you today, suicide. But when God commands you to do something, you do it. So he commanded me to host these panels. And so I did. Again, I thought we were done at 3 last year after breast cancer. But he said, no, my child, now I need you to go and host these panels this year in regards to trafficking, suicide, depression, and so much more. We have the suicide one coming up on Friday, anxiety, the recovering alcoholics as well. But again, the one we're having on Friday is the Global Virtual Panel of Suicide Attempt Survivors. It is important now more than ever to raise awareness about this topic. I mean, look at what just happened in the COVID pandemic that is still occurring. People are taking their lives. We need to intervene in a positive manner. Yes. Hence the title of the panel that I'm hosting this Friday. Because we need to educate others. It's all about positive intervention for positive prevention and solutions. Because if individuals understand suicide and suicide attempts and that they're not alone, and they understand it to the fullest extent, that they do not need to take their lives, they wouldn't do so. It's all about educating others. And I'm not alone. In regards to educating others, I have my team that, again, and the survivors that are coming forward about this. And I understand that it's not easy to do so, but they are doing so. God's warriors.
You are a warrior for sure. So tell us about the Friday. It's Friday at what time and where we can find it?
Yes, it's on Friday from 5 p.m. Eastern to 7:15 p.m.
And yeah, I will post your link so under the video, and it's how people can join. It's the free event that they can just go through the link, or they have to register.
Yes, I would definitely recommend registering via Facebook.
Okay.
Put in Global Virtual Panel of Suicide Attempt Survivors event, like you see there on the screen, and then go to that link. It's going to send you over to the Eventbrite, and then register. It's free. Grab your ticket and reserve your virtual seat, because now with COVID, we're doing everything virtual, right?
Right.
So your virtual seat. And also, you're actually going to be a part of our panels coming up.
Yes, in March, the end of the March. Yeah.
Yes, the depression survivors. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for what you are doing. And as I said, we will drop the links after the show. But I want to acknowledge Ben, which is with us. Yes, we do not know you. Hey, man. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
Gigi, I found this poem and I want to read it for you. Maybe you will recognize it. Walls surround me. It's all I see. All I want is to be free. I scream at the top of my lungs, God, please help me. The back of my mind wants to give up. Then my heart reminds me that I am one of the kind. I feel closed with nowhere to go. Then I remember the beauty of life is to grow. This is the most touching poem. It's not the full one, it's just part of the poem. The touching words, and I can feel the soul there I ever read. Do you recognize it?
Yes, ma'am. I wrote it.
Yours. Yes, it's yours. I love it. Where were you? What? Because it's at some level, it feels like this is when you are talking to the God, like it's the conversation with the God. Is it what was for you? How did you, and tell us about the grow, even when you went through so much and you focus on grow. So tell us about that poem and the grow.
Wow. I have to take a deep breath, because why? I'm blown away at the fact that you just read my poem there. You're actually the first one to do that on an interview. And just hearing the words, it does take me back to when I wrote it. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. It was after the domestic violence matter and the sexual assault incident took place in my life. You're absolutely correct. I had just overcame 2 major events in my life. Yes, ma'am. A lot of trauma there, a lot of trauma, but understand recovery is a process. And when I wrote that poem, it's all about never giving up, to help others understand to never give up. And that's why I wrote it. That's the title of the poem, is to never give up, and understand that growth is truly the beauty of life. That's one of my quotes. Write that down. Growth is truly the beauty of life. Once you stop learning, you stop growing. You stop growing when you stop learning. I can say it 2 different ways, because it's true. Too often individuals say, oh, well, I have my college degree, or I have this and I have that. I don't need to learn anymore. No, you need to continue learning. Always a student first and foremost. That's how you continue to grow. You don't want to remain stagnant. Once you stop learning, you will remain stagnant. Keep growing.
And I didn't want to put you on a spot. I knew that it's going to be emotional, but I wanted our audience to hear through that poem the message that is behind it. No matter what, I will get up. And it's what, when I heard that first, then I read that, and it was like, wow, this is so powerful. It should be, everyone should have it on the mirror or wherever to read every morning when you open your eyes, and remind yourself that no matter what, you will get up and you will follow whatever dream is in your life. And it's what you do. And it's so inspiring and empowering. And I'm so happy to be able to be your friend and actually have you here on that show. And Roland, my friend, I love you so much. Good morning. And ladies love poetry. Yes, you should reach out to Gigi and get her book. It's amazing what she went through and how she was able to transform that in something bigger than her pain. There is Lakeisha, and I think you know each other as well. I support you. Yes. Yeah. Hi, Lakeisha. Thank you for being here with us. And one more reminder, please ask questions or send love to this wonderful lady, because our conversation is gonna end soon. So what is the best way to connect with you, to find you?
Yes, the best way is LinkedIn. You can find me. It's Regeline Gigi Sabbat. So I prefer Gigi for short, for those of you who know me. So yes, definitely you can find me there. You can also find me on my website, Life Service Center of America, LLC.com. Make sure to put that WW beforehand. And also grab your free sample of my book, Walk With Me. You get a free sample when you sign up today. And also as well, understand this, that my books are a sequence. Walk With Me and God First. It's essentially a sequence to help others understand, one, the importance of never giving up, which is what Walk With Me is about, never giving up. So I mentioned the trials and tribulations that I've had to overcome in my life, such as domestic violence and sexual assault. And then God First is the next book to help others understand the importance of having him first in our lives. because again, we wouldn't have all the issues that we have in society if people were to keep God first in their lives. So this is a spiritual walk, my friends.
And Walk With Me is also the name of your show, and I was a guest. Thank you so much. It's amazing conversations. Go and check it out as well. Follow Gigi on, are you on Instagram as well?
Yes,
I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and her website. And my last question is, if you would have this power that you could share with every single person in the world and could gift them with one superpower, what would it be?
I would tell you, again, no matter what you go through in this lifetime, get up, get up. And we're going to take a moment here, because I'm going to bring you all through what you're going through. Understand this. You're just in a matrix. You're just in a matrix, just like a financial matrix. You need to understand it. So that starts with awareness. You need to be aware of what you're going through. Be aware of what you're going through. Write that down. Be aware of what I am going through. Write that down. So you're just in a matrix. And I'll give you that example. A financial matrix is when you have no idea. No, you're not aware. You're not aware about financial literacy, financial freedom, financial security. So you're just in a bubble. You're just in that bubble. You're stuck because you don't understand. You don't understand the process that it takes to reach financial freedom. Most times people just want to reach financial freedom without understanding that you must first obtain financial security. Same thing with your trials or tribulations that you're faced with in your life. You're in a matrix. So once you're aware, mind, body, soul, spirit, okay, this happened to me. I understand what's going on. One, start off with understanding this. You're not what happens to you. Do not put that label on yourself. Understand this. None of the survivors on my panel have come and said, hey, I'm a victim. They never say that. They never call themselves victims, because you're not a victim. You're not what happens to you. So you are a survivor. You're a warrior. Get up. Get up, my friend, because the light is at the end of the tunnel, but it starts with you. You can have all the support in the world, but you need to understand that self-care is important. Self-care is important. Self-love is important. And you need to be aware of what you're going through and get out. Get out of it. Get out of the matrix. Because once you get out of the matrix, then you can step into your purpose.
Wow, so powerful. Get out of the matrix. Grow is important. You are not what happens to you. And first of all, no matter what, get up. Thank you so very much for being here with me and sharing your story, your wisdom. I love you so much, and I hope to have you back sometime soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. And everyone else who is watching us and who will be watching later, please share this episode with your friends and family, because you never know who might need that message today, especially during these tough times. COVID is real. Challenges are real in life. So please, please, please share the message with everyone you know. And come back next Tuesday at noon for meaningful conversations with Beata. I will be here with another change maker to raise awareness and encourage you to take responsibility for your life, because you, like Gigi said, you are the only one who can save yourself. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Likewise.